Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so glad to have you guys here. In today's video, I'm going to actually be spending 2 evenings total just because realistically, I can't knock this all out in one day without it interfering with our homeschooling and our other day-to-day tasks. So I'm spending the evenings doing some food preservation and just working on preserving part of our Azure Standard haul and getting it up on our pantry shelves. So a lot of people ask, what do you do with the produce? What do you do with your order to make sure that it doesn't go bad? And the number one tip I would say is get working on preserving it as quickly as possible because produce does go bad very quickly, especially being shipped for a couple days on a truck. They do a great job at keeping it refrigerated and chilled, but once you get it home, especially if you're buying in bulk, you really want to get working on preserving that so it is in the best state for whatever method of preservation that you choose to go with. Okay, so here you're going to see me just putting some of the groceries away. I have 2 canisters or 2 different types of containers in my kitchen for my main baking staples just because I go through them so frequently and I don't always feel like lugging out a 5-gallon bucket out of the pantry, but my 5-gallon bucket was even empty. So I'm just taking this directly from the bag here and I'm just going to work on putting some of these groceries away. I have the mango chunks in the freeze dryer, but before I get to canning and doing some preservation on the produce, I just want to get a lot of these other groceries put away and out of the way so I can get my counters clean and get ready for an evening of canning. Now, I had a message the other day, and I had this same message a couple months ago, something similar, asking about the wheat berries that I buy from Azure Standard and what do I use them in, what recipes do I use them in, and I didn't really have a way of summing up that answer, but what I want to ask you guys in this video, leave down in the comments below, but do you mill wheat berries? Do you guys have recipes that you use your wheat berries in already? Would you guys like to see some videos on different ways that you can use your wheat berries or your grains? Leave that down in the comments below because I really don't mind doing a video on it. We do our sandwich bread pretty regularly and it really wouldn't hurt just turning the camera on and showing you guys if you're interested in that, some different breads or muffins or anything that you guys want to see. Just leave down in the comments below and that'll give me an idea of what to focus some videos on if I am going to do that and share some different recipes. So once again, just leave that down in the comments below and I think that wouldn't be too difficult to get a couple videos up sharing different ways to use grains. I have einkorn berries, I have hard white wheat berries, I have many different grains and I wouldn't mind sharing those recipes with you guys. Recently, actually in February, we got our cow for the year from a local ranch near us, and it is McGregor Ranch in Estes Park. They're wonderful. It gets processed down in Fort Collins at Atlas. This year, we're really pleased with the amount of meat we got, and we still had some from our last cow last year. So I do plan on making some more videos. I know it's a mess in the background. Seriously, you guys, our washer, I think I told you we replaced parts and then replaced the whole transmission of the washer. And we actually have to just order a brand new washer at this point because it's been weeks with using our tiny one downstairs, and it's just not working. I'm so backed up on laundry, you guys. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I just saw that and I'm like, oh, what an eyesore. Yeah, anyway, it's real life. I'm not trying to hide it and make it look like I have a perfect home, because I certainly don't. But anyway, all that to say, we got our cow and we are maxed out on all our freezers right now as far as space goes. So what I plan on doing here is using a lot of what's in the freezer to get some things pressure canned. I just did a delicious beef stock in the slow cookers. I ran 2 of them and did them for about 24 hours and pressure canned it, and it is just the most delicious beef stock. I need to do that with chicken coming up. But what I'm getting at is I do want to take you guys along and do some things for the freezer, do a bunch of breads and get them in the freezer, and some breakfast freezer meals that are our go-tos. I haven't done freezer meals of any sort for at least a year and a half, just because our freezers stay pretty packed and there's not a ton of space for anything else. I do like to try and keep the freezers stocked up with chicken and beef and bacon and all the meats that we like to eat throughout the year. And I honestly do keep a year, actually right now I probably have a year and a half worth of meat in our freezers. That is the main purpose of our freezers in our garage. I really feel, I don't know, I feel like the prices are still fluctuating on meats especially, so I do like to stay stocked up on that, and because of that, I have limited space for anything else to go into the freezers. I do have some frozen vegetables, but I'm really just trying to switch to freeze drying them or pressure canning when I have time. It's the cost of the produce at the stores is so ridiculous, so it kind of makes no sense sometimes to pressure can everything, because I mean, you want to be cost efficient too, and it's a skill I already have. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. There's beautiful pantries out there, and every single thing that is shown to people is canned, and I feel like there's hidden pantries in people's houses, and there's convenience foods and regular foods that they just don't show because they just want everything to look like they preserved it all themselves, and that's so not me. Actually, when I canned these oranges, actually it's tomorrow evening that in this video I'm going to be canning the oranges. I did the math and it would totally have been cheaper and saved me hours of time to just buy canned mandarin oranges myself. I really thought I was saving money buying them in bulk, but not even counting the hours of prepping and pressure canning and the whole process, but the cost, I could have gotten a lot more just buying it already canned than doing it myself. So I really do try to make sense, because if I'm saying yes to something, I'm saying no to something. And if I'm saying yes to canning of any type, I'm basically saying no to something. So this evening, obviously, it was my housework I was saying no to, not my kids. And that's why I do like doing a lot of my canning and preserving in the evenings and not spending the whole day doing that, just because that takes time away from my housework. It takes time away from me being with my kids or us homeschooling, or my husband if he is wanting to hang out. So I'm always trying to be mindful of what makes sense to do with my time and what doesn't. And tonight the housework's really not horrible. There was a bunch of stuff in the laundry room on the floor, but that's actually all my soap making supplies. I was going to start the evening off doing soap, and I'm like, well, that's silly. I'm actually doing it while I have things going in the canner. That just makes more sense to me. So, and I don't even do that till tomorrow evening. I had high hopes I was going to do it, and it was a crazy hour by the time I got done canning up these potatoes. I think I actually ended up getting to bed at like 2 in the morning. It was just ridiculous. I didn't get the early start that I had wanted to get in these potatoes going, just because I had the groceries all over the place and I just needed to put them away and kind of clear some space. The only thing that I have are the boxes of produce up on the breakfast bar just to have ready on hand. I was really hoping to do a little bit more canning tonight, but that just didn't happen. These potatoes took up a good chunk of time. If any of you want to see more videos on pressure canning, just let me know. I had somebody a while ago ask how I get the potatoes so clear in the jar, because I think when I did my pantry tour, they saw them and just said that they struggled with them always being cloudy. I use the yellow potatoes personally. I think they're just the perfect amount of starch. I think it really just comes down to what type of potatoes you use. And all I do is I peel them, I cube them up, and I blanch them in water. I cover them with water and bring it to a boil. And with whole potatoes, you would want to boil them for 10 minutes, I think it is, or blanch them for 10 minutes. These I only blanched for a couple minutes. I think maybe 2 to 3 minutes. So that's all I do for blanching. And then I put them in the jars and go from there and just pour fresh boiling water over on top of them. So that's it. I did have cherries, you guys. I wanted to do my cherry pie filling and I didn't realize I need 10 pounds of cherries and I only had a 5-pound box. So those had to be used for something else. I actually did a cherry cobbler for that, and that's all I could do. So bummer. I'm gonna have to get 2 5-pound boxes of cherries next Azure haul to get that cherry pie filling up on the shelf. And all I'm doing here, I have a bunch of turkey eggs. I totally cut this short because it was just way too long. I went through every single egg. I think there's only 2 or 3 that don't look viable, but you can see the movement actually in this one. I think I could see the movement. I was trying to get it on the camera, but there is definitely development going on, and I was really excited about that. 2 of them are humidity level. So for turkeys, you need a higher humidity level, like 55, 60, and there's fluctuations with it. So sometimes like I'll get up in the morning and I'm looking and it's like 52 or 48. And so, you just mess with it and add water and all that. But I think 2 of them kind of look like it was starting to develop and then just maybe stopped. I'm not sure. And these are also really hard. I have a Nurture Right 360. These are a little bit more difficult to turn the turkey eggs. I think all of them turn except for maybe 3 or 4 of the eggs that are just a little bit too large. So I'm trying to remember to turn them myself 3 times a day is not always easy, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'm hoping to get some turkeys going here. We actually have one of our toms. I think it has bumblefoot. I gotta do the surgery on it. I didn't do it yesterday because I just did not have the time to mess with it, but I'm debating. I'm like, do I even waste my time doing it? And okay, so actually, I'm going to ask you guys a question here. Okay. If you have a chicken or turkey with bumblefoot, that goes into the bloodstream, right? Because it's like a staph infection. Because I'm like, I could just process him. But I'm like, no, because if that is in his bloodstream, I know you could probably cook that out of the meat, but how does that work? Has anybody that's watching this had a chicken or turkey with bumblefoot and you just couldn't get it to heal, or you just didn't want to mess with it and you just processed it? Did you do that? Because my husband's like, I can just, dispatch it and carry on because we'll probably have another Tom in here. But I do like having 2 Toms with the amount of hens that I have. Anyway, let me know because I've been like wondering, is it even worth the effort of separating a huge Tom turkey? I have no place to put it. It would have to be like in a Rubbermaid in my garage, and that's just ridiculous. So I'm not sure. Let me know. Can you eat it or no? Is that a no go? Let me know. It is the next day, and this is what's going on. We are canning up the mandarin oranges. I will not tell you how long it took me to peel and prep these, you guys. A viewer mentioned a long time ago when I got mandarin oranges from Azure in another haul. you can can mandarin oranges ? So they didn't know that you can, and yes, you can. You just make a light syrup. They didn't know that you can can it. So yeah, you just can it. You can can it in a light syrup. I always do a light syrup with fruit just because there's already so much sugar in fruit to begin with. You could do a medium or heavy syrup, whatever floats your boat. I did a light syrup in this one, and that's it. You just pack it with the oranges, and then I don't even remember the headspace on this. I'm not even going to guess and throw it out there. But if you do want a video on it, I mean, I'm kind of already doing it here. But that's all you do. You just pour the syrup over, like the boiling hot syrup over the oranges, and then just water bath can it. And that's it. That's all it is. So super simple. And we absolutely love the way that it turns out. There's nothing better, I don't think, other than being able to can things yourself. I absolutely am so glad I jumped into canning when I did. I was so intimidated for the longest time, even water bath canning. But of course, it's a big money saver if you can grow this stuff yourself. Yeah, it's a huge money saver. If you can't, like I can't grow a lot of things right now, you can buy it in bulk. Usually there's really good prices out there. Sometimes you really have to do the math because if you are trying to be cost efficient, like these mandarin oranges that I got in bulk, it would have been more cost efficient to just buy it canned at the store. I did the math and broke it down. Even buying already canned organic fruit from the store would have been way cheaper than buying this in bulk. I thought because it was in bulk, it would have been cheaper. But all that aside, it it's nice canning things yourself because you get control over the ingredients and you get to decide what is going into your jar, how much sugar you want in it, you know, the quality, and also being able to buy produce in the peak of that seasonal produce. You get to enjoy that in the middle of winter. You know, pop open a jar of produce that you canned at the peak of its season, and you get to enjoy that, and it's absolutely rewarding. And I don't know, I love canning. There's so many great reasons why you should learn to can if you haven't already. It's just a life skill that I feel a lot of people don't know how to. It wasn't passed down to them. And this whole lifestyle was definitely not a part of my childhood. I was a city girl. This is something, if you would have told me 10 years ago this was going to be me, I would have probably just laughed at you. And I had no desire at the time, but I just really, as I've grown, my heart's really changed on the lifestyle I want and the lifestyle I want to raise my kids with. So I am just so thankful for that change of heart. And I mean, especially nowadays, look what's going on. Look what's going on with food, the things, I mean, I don't know, there's so much going on. I'm not even going to get into it. So many other channels get into it daily, and I'm just not going to be redundant, but there's so many reasons right now more than ever. You should be growing your own food if you can, and you should be canning and preserving your own food. On a total side note, just to update you guys, I do have a video coming out that a lot of people had asked for. When I did a video about some changes that I was making this year, things I'm not buying, and more things I'm going to be doing myself. I do have a video coming up on my cleaners that I do. They're all natural cleaners, and I'm really excited to get that done. Honestly, having this broken washer has put me behind in a lot of things. I don't know why. It's like one of those things where one thing can throw you off, and it's like you lose all motivation to do everything else just because it's out of order. And that's kind of how I've been. I feel like I'm behind in everything right now. But I do have that video coming up, and I'm going to share those products with you guys. And I'm debating how I want to film that, but I think I'm going to share the recipe and just like show how I use it. but it's a lot better than the cleaners out there. There's some really good cleaners out there now and plant-based ones. There's all different types of ones, but there's some things I just like to do myself. And I had a season in my life, believe it or not, it makes no sense to me, but it's when my twins were newborns. And okay, they weren't newborns. They were like 6 or 7 months old. And my twins were, yeah, I'd say like 6, 7 months old. And we found out baby number 8 was on the way. I don't know why, but with all that chaos going on, I was like in a really do-it-yourself season of life where like I did all the things myself. I don't even understand. It makes no sense, but I did. I was a really weird when I was pregnant. I was an extremely productive person when I was pregnant every single time. But I did do all my cleaners, and I really have not done them since I don't know why. There's just seasons of life where sometimes it works, sometimes it just doesn't. And I'm getting really back into the season of life where I'm doing a lot more things myself. I'm back to doing my soaps and my body products and just my cleaners and all those things. So I do plan on getting that video out here shortly and sharing those recipes, because somebody is like, can you share the natural cleaners that you make? Just show us how you make them, what you do, and how well they work. And I definitely do have that coming up here very shortly, because I do want to get that out there. If it's something that you guys are interested in making, you guys can do it. And I did it for a long time. Like I said, it's just the busyness in life. Sometimes your needs change and sometimes your priorities change. And baby number 8 was it for me. And I think just having them so close in age, they were more like triplets for me and honestly still are, and they're boys. So those 3 are, oh my gosh, they are some work. They are work, but oh gosh, I had all 3 of them in cloth diapers, and it was just crazy. And I don't know what it was, but I was just like, all right, it is easier to buy. And that's kind of how I've been, but just with all this stuff going on in the world and more things coming to light that we already knew of, all the bad things and all these products. And like I said, there's plant-based ones out there too, but then it comes down to like money. It's like if you have a large house and you're cleaning all the time because your home is lived in all the time, there's a lot of cleaning products getting used. So it is definitely cheaper to make your cleaning products yourself. That is 100% an accurate statement. And that is why I am getting back to it, because I'm just spending way too much money on cleaning products when I can do it and have actually better results than the cleaning products I would be buying. On to the soap making. I am going to get this squeezed in. It is late at this point, but I had my soap making products out. Not the lie. Don't worry, guys. Not the lie. I did not have that out on the ground. I had all my tubs and my supplies out, but I did not have the lye out on the ground. Just going to say that. Anyway, I am making some shampoo bars that I want to get started, just because they take about 4 to 5 weeks to actually cure. And I keep putting it off. I've put this off probably for the past 2 months since I've made that video of all the things I'm going to do. But we had plenty to use up anyway. And that was the same with the cleaners. Like I had to go through all the cleaners I already had before I could make my own, because the amount I had, it was like you would think I did house cleaning for a living. It was a closet with tons of each product that I used around the house. Like I always stayed well stocked up on that stuff. I totally believe in staying stocked up on things. And I wouldn't quite say like complete prepper, but I definitely stay stocked up on basic things, basic supplies. And cleaning products was definitely one of them, and just going through them so frequently. But I am excited to be getting this going. Yes, it's going to take some time for them to cure, and I do another batch the next day after this one just to get a couple of them going, because it does take so long for them to cure. But I do want to get back into my soap making. Like I said, I'm just doing shampoo bars here, but And there's conditioner bars too. I'm not even worried about that technically right now because you can do like a vinegar rinse for that. So that's not super high priority, but I am slowly getting into all these things, and I have some bars of soap that I plan on doing here soon. They're a little bit more, I don't know the word. There's a little bit more steps to them than there is like these shampoo bars I'm doing. So I'm trying to make sure, like, because after I do them, I have to wait 4 hours and then remove them from the molds pretty quickly in order for them to turn out right. It's a long story. But anyway, that's something that I certainly can't like start at 9 o'clock at night and stay up till 1. So I'm trying to time doing that, but they're really cute and they're really cute soaps. They actually look like little rounds of honeycomb, and they have really good products and ingredients inside of them. So I'm excited to do that. My essential oils. This is just one box of essential oils that I have, you guys. This is crazy. I told you I was really big on soap making. I had my own website. I had my own store where I sold them. I went to the markets here in town and sold my products. I did bath bombs and all kinds of boutique style stuff and some body scrubs and all these things. So I have been a member with doTERRA since 2016, I think. Maybe even 2016, back when I did all my stuff. And yeah, so I still am, and every month you have to put in an order, and it adds up over time. Even if you just do one oil a month, that adds up, and they have really long expiration dates on them. So I do have probably almost every oil out there. But anyway, this time I went with a peppermint rosemary style scent for this soap because rosemary has really good benefits for your hair, and then peppermint just makes it feel like cool and refreshing and clean. So that is what I did, and I am just pouring that mixture of oils in now. If you guys are interested in this recipe and would like a video on it, let me know. Let me know at any point in the comments below if you want a video on any of these things, and I can definitely I'm going to be making much more frequent batches, like I said, because it takes so long for it to cure. But I do have a lot of the things I'm starting to do now because I am finding more time now to do these things. So let me know and I can get a video up if this is something that you'd like to do as well. And then here I textured it, and I'm like, oh, it didn't really look exactly the way I wanted it to. So I'm just texturing with the back of the spoon. There's so many different styles you can do, and it just adds a little flair having the design to it. Some people like to be super simple. I don't think I've ever been a super simple type person. Sometimes I really wish I was, but I can be my own worst enemy at times. But I'm like, well, before it sets up, I better get this going. So then I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours before I can take it out of the mold and get them sliced and ready to cure. All right, so I got a good amount of all of this preserved. I am so happy, and it is ready to go up on the pantry shelf. And I was even able to sneak in some shampoo bars. But if you guys made it to the end of this video, thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys being here. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. So until then, take care and God bless.